Hello everyone, Dave here. In my last video I talked about the average proportions of the human body. I mentioned that the average human stands about 8 heads tall, or what we call a 1/8 scale. This is known as the standard by many artists in many genres for a realistic approach to the human proportions. However, for those of us who draw comics, manga, and many other styles, a realistic approach is not necessarily at the top of our priority list. As I've mentioned before, you can make your characters look any way you feel they should look. The important thing to remember is consistency. You don't want a character to be 7 heads tall in one panel and then 5 heads tall in another. Here I will briefly cover a few popular art styles and their typical proportions. This can be used as a guide for when you design your characters and then decide how they look. In manga, the average adult is based on a 1/7 scale, or 7 heads tall. You may have noticed that manga and anime characters' heads are slightly larger than many traditional American styles. This is because the body is at a smaller proportion to the head. Liberties can be taken, of course, if the character is taller or shorter than this average. For example, you may choose to make a character only 6.5 or even 7.5 heads tall if you so desire. A teenager or young adult will be proportioned on a 1:6 scale. This is the age when a character develops into their adult body. Males will begin to broaden in the shoulders, while females will show signs of more curvature in the breasts and hips. The average preteen will be 5 heads tall. While female characters will show early signs of development, male characters will still mostly be childlike in form. Children in a manga style will only be 4 heads tall. Realistically, this is on par with a 1-year-old baby. However, these proportions can be used for characters up to 10 years old. Next we have chibi style, which is in no way realistic by any means. A chibi style character is a mere 3 heads tall. In most cases, the body is depicted in its most basic form. Many times the character doesn't even have visible fingers on their hands. This style is most commonly used for comedic scenes or for the cute factor. And finally, we come to the 1:2 ratio. This is rarely seen in comics, but I thought it was worth mentioning because there is a popular line of vinyl figures that use this ratio. One important note is that as the head measurements get smaller, so do the bodies. However, with the exception of the chibi, or the 1:2 ratio, the basic proportions of the body remain the same. The elbow is still in line with the belly button, and so on. Many traditional American comic styles have stuck diligently to the 1:8 scale mentioned earlier. However, in recent years, with the growing popularity of manga and anime, many artists have begun to gravitate to some variation of these guidelines, or they have found ways to integrate them into their own style somehow. With that being said, I can't stress enough that these are not laws that must be obeyed. They are simply guidelines to give artists a good starting point. There are many styles and characters that deviate from these guidelines and have thrived, especially in the cartoon industry, so make your characters look any way you like them to. But again, the important thing is consistency. That is all I have for now. Be sure to like and subscribe and check out my comic and other works linked in the description. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.